Hello. Wondering what anyone thinks about our man Bernie Sanders being president. I like the guy. Bernie and I are probably about the same age. He may be a little bit older. So we've seen the world and the United States for about the same length of time, and I've changed my opinions a lot over those years. Started out as a die-hard Republican. Then I started caring about people a little bit more. Started realizing that Republican philosophy does seem to make our country richer, but only the rich people seem to benefit from it. There's something like $7 trillion in illegal bank accounts. Not all of that from the United States, but a lot of it with rich people here that deposit their money in illegal but secret accounts where they generally don't get caught to avoid taxes. And of course, that just means we pay for all those taxes. It's not something I like. I don't like being involved in as many wars as we've been in. I go back clear to the Vietnam War. I haven't seen a lot accomplished by that. What do you think about Bernie? What's an important issue to you? I see I have one whole person watching. Wow. One more than I had last time. What you're seeing in front of me is a fish pond with my fish. Nice, sunny, gorgeous day here in Maryland. And I'm hoping I can eventually get twice as many people to talk about Bernie. Anyway, if you've got any issue that you think's important or another point of view, be glad to listen. I also agree very much with Bernie's idea about having the country pay for education. If we want to compete with Europe and China, Japan, the rest of the world, we're going to have to start turning out some scientists and engineers. If we want to solve social problems, which I think are primarily, or to a great extent, our social problems are our social problems come in a large part from the fact that people don't have jobs, they don't have good education, and the cycle just goes on ever and ever. So I agree with Bernie's plan for education, paying for college all the way through college for anyone that's qualified. We already do that in South Carolina, Georgia, where they use the money from the lottery. They use it to pay for college for anybody that gets a B in high school. So we already do it in some states. So some states are going to already benefit from having a more educated workforce. And that's my other dog wanting me to throw the ball. Come here. Don't go. Of the two people I've got now, which is double my audience as before, do you have any issue that you think's important and wonder what Bernie thinks about it? What's another issue? Bernie's a little soft on the gun control. That's probably the only issue I disagree with him on. But on the other hand, I also see his point that there's millions of guns already out there, and keeping a few more off the streets is going to take a long time before that makes any difference. I tend to be just slightly pro-life, but that's decided more by the courts. I'm actually very much pro-birth control. I'm not really pro-life or I mean, I don't like abortions, and I think we ought to do a better job on birth control. So I mostly agree with Bernie on that issue. Let's take another issue. Okay, somebody give me some help here. My big audience of 2 people. What's another issue? Oh, immigrants. I'm very much against the very hateful attitude of Trump and most of the Republicans who want to treat immigrants like they're inferior to us. I actually think they're just like us. They're looking for a better life, and they're doing what they can to get that better life. So again, on immigrants, I'd go along with the Democratic Party for the most part, and for people that think immigrants are people just like us. And I'm pretty much I grew up in El Paso, on the El Paso border. I had a lot of friends from Mexico. I was the lucky one. I was born, one side of the river. That was born on the other side. That didn't make me any better. The idea that they should follow the law to get over here, well, you have to be rich to be able to afford a visa and get from Mexico to the U.S. or anywhere in the South. So that's not an option. The only way they have to get here is to break the law and come across and hope for the best in trying to raise their family for their kids, just like the rest of us. Let's see. Okay, we're up to 3 people, 3 times more than I started with. Any issue there that anybody wants to talk about? It's hard to imagine there's actually anybody out there. But, let's see. Okay, U.S. military. Bernie wants to cut back on it. We spend $600 billion a year, 0.6 of a trillion, which is more than the next 10 countries involved, more than 3 times the amount of Russia and China put together. And of course, if we can't beat a country with that kind of money. Oh, I see my battery's going. Anyway, I think we ought to reduce the military budget and use it education, homelessness. You realize where the most homeless people live? 2 places. One, on the street. Most of the homeless people are mentally ill, and the other is there's about 2 million people live in jails that are mentally ill. And while they're in jails, they give them pills to help them. But then they get better and they kick them out, and they don't get the pills, and they get in trouble and end up back in. Another brilliant system. Drug policy. 50 years of insanity. And, they say that saying, what makes something stupid? When you keep time, and most people with drug problems have all sorts of emotional problems, anxiety and low self-worth, etc. They need help. I think Bernie would go for that. Anyway, I see I have a very talkative, interesting crowd. If you guys don't have any opinions on Bernie, I think I'll sign out. I probably enjoyed this more than you guys did. Anyway, having fun out here with my animals. So I talk about Bernie and politics. See you guys another time. Thanks for the 2 people that joined me, even though you were a little too talkative for me.